What's good, guys? This is SPK, and basically, I'm having to re-record this because if you were one of the few people to see my other video in like the first hour that it came up, basically what happened is I recorded this commentary. Got back to it, or somebody left a comment. My good friend ASK Blanks, definitely go check him out. He's a great YouTuber, especially after he joined ASK. He's been growing really fast, really rapidly, and basically. What ended up happening is the gameplay when I recorded this, my audio was still in it, and while my audio was still in it, I forgot to turn complete. So basically, what I normally do is I completely cut out all the audio from when I originally recorded it, because it's kind of hard. Not even because it's kind of hard, but it's kind of annoying hearing like the gunshots go off in the background sometimes and stuff like that while I'm trying to talk. Especially considering this is mostly about like my voice and all that stuff like that. And basically, what you're watching is just me and my friend Trey. He's been in a lot of videos actually. It's just us messing around in the background. And basically, what I want to talk about is I want to talk about jetpacks in competitive Call of Duty. Like jetpacks, like thruster packs, whatever you want to call them, like AW. Or I'm mostly going to be focusing on AW jetpacks more than I am on the, like jetpacks from Black Ops 3, because from Black Ops 3 it's not that bad. And basically what I want to talk about is I was watching the ASK podcast. I've been mentioning ASK a lot in this, ASK Blanks. I've been watching the ASK podcast, and one of the things they talked about is jetpacks in competitive Call of Duty, and how imagine if you can, or like they like it with the predictability. They say if you're aiming down a line of sight and you see somebody, if you're on a head glitch and you have and you're up higher, you should have the advantage on that person. That should be almost a guaranteed kill. And I disagree with that. This isn't made specifically to rebuttal with them. This isn't made to like deny them, to say that they're wrong or anything like that. It's just me saying that this is personally how I feel about the topic. And I personally like jetpacks in Call of Duty. My first Call of Duty was MW3, so it's none of that stuff where it's like, oh, the only reason he likes jetpacks is because his first Call of Duty was the one with jetpacks in it. But my first Call of Duty was MW3, and I do like jetpacks. I like the fact that I can move fast, that I can move around fast, that I can get to places faster than I would be if I was just sitting there walking. And I like that because a lot of people say that it messes up the timing and stuff like that, and all this other stuff about how it ruins the game, but I don't think it ruins the game. And actually, I think it improves the game, because one of the things that people complained about, especially in like Ghost and like games like that where the boots were on the ground, if you go, I think it helps pubs, because I think I'm not gonna say it completely removes camping, but in AW I saw a drastically less amount of like numbers of bigger not bigger YouTuber, or a bigger, like I've seen a drastically less amount of campers that are in the that were in AW whenever I was watching it. And I thoroughly believe that that it's better to, like, I think it's better to have it move fast, because in AW, let's take the map Riot for example, because this is the one where I get to use this to my advantage the most. In Riot, there's a room called benches, and what people do is they sit behind the bench and they'll sit there and they'll have two people like watch the entrances and search and destroy, because it's just a good spot to be able to jump out and check the A-bomb if you need to. And so what you can do is if you like shoulder peek into benches and you know that he's there, and then you jump in, like, or well, that's kind of a bad example, but say if you just jump in, even if you don't shoulder peek in, you just jump in and then dash to your right, he's not gonna, like, especially with the way, unless he's playing on a 20 sensitivity, he's not gonna be able to keep up with how fast you're moving to the right, and you're gonna have the advantage over him because he's sitting still while you're moving around and doing all this extra jumping stuff. And I think that like puts another, it makes a higher skill gap in Call of Duty, and I think that's what it should be, because personally watching games like CS:GO and stuff like that, like they've already got that market locked down. Like the market for strategic high skilled, like slow-paced like first-person shooters, I think they've got that locked down. I don't think there's going to be another title that overthrows them. But I think if Call of Duty wants to take a different route, and they could go with this fast-paced, fast-paced run-and-gun esports, which is going to drastically, they're going to be targeting a more niche market. So instead of looking for all these people, instead of trying to like take away from another fan base, they're just gonna lock down this like futuristic fan base that people are looking for. Because a lot of people say that they're tired of the future, and I don't believe people are tired of the future. Because just look at you could say that people are tired of the future, but I don't think it's the fact that it's the future. Like if you were to go back and make or I feel like you can do the same thing even if it's not in the future. Say if I was to go back and make like a World at War, or not, it wasn't in World at War, it was in Black Ops 1, like a Moon. Say if I basically remade Black Ops 1 and made every map like Moon, where I could jump up in the air and shoot and do stuff like that. I think it would I think they shouldn't just completely remake it boots on the ground, like boots on the ground Call of Duty. I think they should make it where it's kind of hard to explain, but they should just kind of like reskin it to make it not look so futuristic-y and kind of give like a more like old school vibe to it. Like if you guys have ever played the game BioShock, if you look at that game, it's got like an old school vibe to it, like Revolutionary War like vibe, but it's in the future. And if they were to take an approach like that, I think the game would be absolutely great. Like I don't think people would get upset. I think it'd be perfectly fine like that. And I know I've kind of strayed away from the topic of talking about how I like jetpacks and competitive Call of Duty. But say if somebody's sitting in a corner and they're like, say if somebody's sitting in a corner and they're sitting there like waiting for you to walk through. If I walk in there, see the kid sitting in the corner, he starts to shoot at me. I sit there and I dash to either the left or right. I can then kill that kid. I like that kid's an easy kill now because I have the advantage on him. He wasn't ready for me to dash to the left or the right. It adds more of a skill gap when I'm able to move faster and do all this other stuff. And personally, I like that about Call of Duty. I like games that have a skill gap. Like Overwatch, I think that's going to be a great game because there's a great competitive game just because there's a skill gap between like I know when I first played the Overwatch beta, I was getting absolutely demolished. Like it wasn't even funny, and I eventually had to find a character that I thought was good for me, that I enjoyed using myself. And every character has a role in that, and I think with Call of Duty is becoming more like that, where every person has a role. Like you can't just sit there and say I want Formal, Scumpy, Clayster, and someone else on my team. Now it's like you need a role. You need your AR, you need your support AR, you need your support sub, and you need your roaming slaying sub. And each team has that if you look at them. And what you're seeing right now is actually Smite gameplay, because we're talking about esports, and this is another like really big esports game. And basically, this is a game where I was trying to use Shibalanke, and he's absolutely insane. Like if there's any character that like, well, they don't really. If this is a really good character, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like now that I look at it now though, my build's kind of messed up. Like I have Golden Bow and Transcendence. If I could redo this, I would get rid of Transcendence and just have Golden Bow. But basically, I think that having jetpacks in Call of Duty it's gonna help it, because I feel like having jetpacks in Call of Duty, and especially for esports, it's gonna help esports grow, because you never want to just go into a scene and do what everybody else is doing. The way you get bigger and like better into a scene is you target a niche market that other people aren't targeting. So unless I'm wrong, I don't think there's another futuristic esports game. Like I guess you could say Halo, but I don't even think that counts as, well, it's futuristic, but I don't even think that's like near Call of Duty, like if you know what I mean. I don't think that's considered like Call of Duty like Halo's getting blown out of the water when it comes to, if I'm correct, Halo's getting blown out of the water when it comes to Call of Duty, because it just has like no, it's not really targeting a niche market in their scene. It's just a first-person shooter, and it's like a first-person shooter, and it's kind of got a futuristic vibe, like but Call of Duty's already got that scene locked down, so the fact that they're going for it, it kind of confuses me. And basically what I'm trying to get at is to have a good like esport, if we're gonna help Call of Duty grow, I think it needs to stay futuristic. I think we need to keep jetpacks and like all this other stuff. And as bad as it's gonna sound, I really do think that's the coining a phrase from WWE. I think it's really what's best for business. If Call of Duty wants to target a niche market and stuff like that. So basically, yeah, that's basically gonna be the commentary. I've been SBK.